Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, October 12th. This will be a technical analysis review. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, then this will be a video for you. Real quick before I get started, just keep in the back of your mind that if you're liking what you hear and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to, like I said, make good decisions, but then also ultimately build consistency, then I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering this upcoming Thursday. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, claytrader.com, there's going to be an area right on the webpage there that you can click on. So just keep that in the back of your mind, and if you're liking what you see, then definitely get signed up for the class. First one here, ticker symbol ANY, and a very, very nice way to start off the week. You can see down here, volume has returned. Not just a question of, okay, is this volume going to stay? Is it going to maybe even get bigger than that, which is always a possibility. But at the core, volume has shown up. And as traders, that's what we want. You can't. It's very hard to make money when stocks or really whatever you're trading aren't getting much volume. But in this situation, the volume has shown up, so that'll be the first big kind of idea to keep an eye on. But then from just a trading standpoint, and depending on your strategy, a couple of well-defined areas here. And the first area here to keep an eye on is going to be right up. There we go, right up here at this level of $8.10. And nothing fancy or complicated behind this other than the fact that you can see 3 times previously the price had tried to get up there and failed each time. And I should note I'm doing the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So you can see right here that the final 30 minutes price is actually coming up right to test that level. And I should note the market still has a few minutes before it closes. So who knows, maybe we'll see some sort of breakout happen right here on video as the price is quite literally knocking on the door right there. And actually there is the breakout. So this is cool. So now it's just a question of, is this breakout going to get more continuation? So as we watch that play out live, that's going to be the big question mark headed into tomorrow. So whether or not the price actually closes up above 810, you'll be able to get a better view by the time this is uploaded. You can look back and see where this thing ultimately, closed. But as of right now, as I speak, the price is breaking up through there. Awesome. Glad we caught that. But like I said, now this brings about the question of, all right, is this the start of something bigger? Maybe it's not. But my point here is that it's at least it's at least a rational thought process to have that, hey, a breakout is underway. Is this going to be the start of something much bigger? We'll have to see what happens with it. And then for people that like playing pullbacks a bit more, an interesting pullback area, potentially going to be right down there around the 765 mark, but that'll be an important area of support. But yeah, breakout is underway. Can this breakout and momentum carry into Tuesday? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol DATS, and really like this pattern here, mainly because it's a well-defined level. So when I draw out these lines, I'm not trying to come across like this is some sort of special skill that I have and this is some sort of great secret discovery. The exact opposite. I assure you, people that use and understand charts are going to be watching these same things. And I say all that because when a lot of people around the world are watching the same levels, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce very nice movement. And the level here that a lot of people are going to be watching, and rightfully so, right up there at that $13 mark. You can see that essentially all afternoon long, $13 presented a problem. Several times the price tried to get up above it there, but could never quite do it. But the nice thing here is that over time, throughout the course of the day, check out what these lows have been doing. These lows have been getting higher and higher and higher. So again, does that guarantee that a breakout is going to happen? No, no such thing as a guarantee. But is it at least a valid? Is it at least a rational thought process to have to be thinking, hey, I think a breakout of 13 could be coming? It absolutely is. So definitely keep a close eye on that dynamic, with $13, like I said, being that key level of resistance. And if the price can push up through there, next key level would be right up around $13.55. As far as overarching areas of support, for those people, again, that like to play pullbacks, keep an eye on that pink line there, which on my chart and notes, the very well-known, very famous 200 period moving average, currently valid. We'll just call it $10.70. But all in all, nice movement today, nice consolidation. All eyes going to be on that $13 mark, so let's see what happens with it. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC. And, not a terrible day, but overall a very disappointing day because obviously the price made a great move up. And at that point, it made totally rational sense for people to be getting excited, for people to think, okay, hey, maybe something's back. Maybe the bulls are going to make a push. And then after that, basically spent the remainder of the day pulling back to the downside. Now, it's not like it crashed through any areas of key support or anything like that. So that's why I'm not trying to make this sound like it's a train wreck of a day, but it is, looking at it individually, a disappointing day. I mean, great bounce up and then to have the price pull back down. I'm sure it got some people excited. and again, rightfully so. But that's what still brings about the key level that I know I've talked about in several past videos, but nothing has changed there. 36.25 still going to be a very important level, which a nice little sign. Good to see that the price bounced right off that this morning. So that's a level I've talked about in past top 10 videos. So to any chart traders that played that bounce right there, congratulations, you got yourself a very nice bounce. But from the overarching standpoint, nothing has changed there. Still 36.25 key level of support, and then that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, remains the area of resistance. And surprise, surprise, that's ultimately where the momentum had some problems here and gave back up. So that 200 period remains the key level of resistance, now valid at, we'll call it 38.15. Next one, CEI, still remains very, very popular out there. Although I do have a question about its popularity on that note, and that has to do with the fact that volume really dropped off quite a bit today. Now, 1 day worth of volume dropping off doesn't mean that nobody cares about it anymore, so I'm not suggesting that. But I am just throwing out there that, okay, it's at least worth now monitoring and asking the question, are people starting to kind of lose interest in it and just saying, let's see what else is out there? Because that was, now don't get me wrong, all overall shares, still one of the most, highly shared traded, stocks today in the market. But from a relative standpoint, well, relatively speaking, it was a very low amount of volume. So that's going to be the big question, at least in my mind, is this kind of a leading indicator that people are kind of starting to just really not care that much about it anymore? But who knows? This is CEI, so maybe tomorrow the volume comes pouring back in. That remains to be seen. But it's at least worth noting that there was quite a bit of a drop-off in volume today. As far as, levels of support are concerned, there are here that stand out to me just kind of from, what would make this current little trend look the best would certainly be if the price can stay above that level. So change that to green to represent more of the bullish dynamic. And then as far as areas of resistance, just like AMC, it's all about that pink line. Again, the 200 period moving average up there at $2.30. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. The volume drop off today, a little sketchy, but good news is only Monday. So still 4 days left on the week. So we'll see if the volume can return. Next one here, ticker symbol PROG. And last 30 minutes, you can see the volume has really returned. And there's a nice move underway here. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's just because of the last 30 minutes. The entire day was solid. I mean, the opening 30 minutes, you can see right there. Nice breakout, consolidated, got the break there, consolidated, and once again got the break here. And like I said, the market is still open for a few more minutes, so we're witnessing the big move there. But the level of resistance that every breakout player and their brother's uncle is going to be watching, so let me change that to red for resistance, is right here at $2.20. Going through the history of things, you can see 220. Momentum disappeared. Right there, momentum disappeared. So that'll be the big question headed into Tuesday. Once the price, if it gets up to 220, what's going to happen with the momentum? Is the momentum going to stay strong? Is it going to disappear once again? That all remains to be seen. But the core dynamic here is that by no means is $2.20 some sort of random level. And as traders, that's what we're ultimately trying to avoid, is making random decisions. Because if you're making random decisions, that just means you're gambling. That's not going to be a long-term strategy. But if you're making rational decisions, if you're making decisions based around areas that are not random, well, that doesn't guarantee you're going to make millions of dollars, but it does ensure that you're not gambling and you're starting to make, well thought out decisions. And $2.20, again, is one of those levels that by no means is random and certainly is going to be a big level to watch for any sort of pullback in terms of key levels of support. Definitely quite a bit of buyers down there around $1.78, so keep an eye on that. But definitely the big dynamic right now, due to the last 30 minutes and the surge in volume, is can the price get up to 220? And then next, can it break through it? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol PTGX, and I like this one for one reason alone, so I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I've already talked about the concept. But remember the little talking point about well-defined areas and lots of people watching, and then therefore fulfilling prophecies or whatever you want to call it. Right here we have that at the $37 mark. There is going to be so many people watching $37, and rightfully so. I mean, it has certainly been a key problem point. So it makes it valid to think that if the price can get up there and then break up through it, that break could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. And then you have to factor in the fact that when you look at these lows keep getting higher and higher. So you have these increasing lows, which, as I've said already, does that guarantee that a breakout is going to happen? No, of course not. Does it make it valid? Does it make it rational that a breakout could be around the corner? Absolutely. So definitely keep a close eye on $37 moving forward. Next one here, ticker symbol FAMI. Still quite a few people talking about it. However, like CEI, no guarantees, but you gotta wonder, all right, volume dropped off quite a bit today. Is this a sign that people are kind of just starting to lose interest, moving on to other stocks? All unknown right now, but at least a question that needs to be thrown out there. And the problem with that is, and why in my mind it starts to make sense is, well, yeah, it would make sense if people are losing interest when a stock just continues to drift lower and lower and lower. Now the volume could come pouring back in, things could recover. But right now things are definitely looking shaky. And when you just kind of extend the chart out, you can see that the price is still maintaining above key technical levels, that main key technical level right now being the pink line there, 200 period moving average as a key level of support. And to be fair, I mean, the price isn't really anywhere even close to that pink line right now. But the fact that the price just continues to drift down, it makes sense why volume is starting to drop off more and more as people are looking like they're just losing interest in it. But like I said, the reason why I want to keep it, on the chart here is that this thing has looked like people have kind of forgotten about it, only to come back to life again and make big moves. So that doesn't mean that it'll happen, but given that this thing has a track record of doing that, it's at least worth keeping an eye on, keeping it on the watch list, just in case some sort of momentum does continue. But if this thing continues to drift lower, then you got to think that volume is just going to drop off more and more as people move on to try to trade other stocks and such. But worth keeping an eye on, and we'll see if there can be any sort of worthwhile breakout to the upside. And that breakout area that I'd keep a close eye on is that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, valued at 36 cents. Next one here, ticker symbol SOFI, and very nice surge in volume today. A lot of people talking about it, and then a nice little pattern here has formed. So let's get this pattern drawn up here. If I could click on there we go. So big part of the pattern right there, kind of that self-fulfilling prophecy level, as we'll call it, right there at 1850. You can see the price got rejected from that area several times. And then as far as, a general support area, you can see that this general trend line right there, in fact, let me change that once again to green to represent support, is a level that has shown up quite a bit. And then just to make this maybe a little bit easier to see and turn this all one color, so we have the resistance up there, we have the support right there, and then we have this big momentum move right there, known as a pull portion. And if I put a little golf hole down there, for those of you that are maybe more visual, you can picture that as kind of a little pennant there, but this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So big question mark moving forward is namely, is this little consolidation right here just a little breath before it resumes back upwards through 1850? Very well could be, but just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean that if only trading were this easy to say that, oh, it's a bullish pattern, therefore the price is guaranteed to keep going up. If only it were that easy. Now, is it logical to think that way? Absolutely. So keep an eye on 1850 and let's see if the price can get the breakout of that bull pennant pattern. Have a case of deja vu here, because essentially the exact same type of scenario here, big volume, big movement up, and now it's consolidated a little bit and is given a nice little pattern here. Although this pattern is going to be a little bit different. Same general dynamic, but we have the resistance part of the pattern. And then down here we would have the support portion of it. So change that once again to green. And then to just kind of keep everything same color to make it easier to see, we have, again, resistance right there. We have support right there. We have the momentum move up like that. And then this would be known as a bull flag pattern. Now, bull flag, bull pennant, don't get too hung up on the names because they are just names. But the core dynamic here is the story that's being told is that there was the big surge in volume. Now the price is pulling back, doing a little consolidating. So it's just a question mark of, okay, yeah, is this just a little bit of consolidation with an overall upwards momentum move that's going to ultimately carry it up through? That is definitely a very valid thought process to have and worth at least keeping an eye on. So put it on the watch list and we'll see what the price does relative to this bull flag pattern. Next one here, ticker symbol MKD. Not a whole lot of people talking about it, but it's one of these where I don't want to be the person that saw it and was like, oh, okay, that looks kind of interesting. And then, I'm not going to put it on the top 10. And then I look at it a week later and the thing's like up over $1. Now, I have no idea if that's going to happen, but you got to like the formation today and you got to like the latter part of the day. So, I mean, the formation, nice move up this morning, consolidated a little bit here. So actually, put together a bull flag, bull pennant, but then actually got the breakout of it, which brings about the question of, okay, is this the start of something bigger? Which we've had this as a talking point already. And we have a nice, well-defined area up here that's going to help us determine whether or not this is the start of something bigger, whether or not this thing has some genuine power behind it. And that's going to be to keep an eye on 42 cents. You can see previously 42 cents presented a problem. Now, if the price comes up here and breaks through 42, that doesn't mean that for sure guaranteed this thing's going to $1. I'm not saying that. But it would, you would assume, set off that many more scanners in people's eyeballs. Because right now, not a whole lot of people are watching it, paying attention to it. Because yes, volume increased a little bit today, but by no means would I consider this some sort of absolutely monster volume thing. But the volume is starting to wake up. The price action is starting to wake up. So maybe we're a little early here. And if more eyeballs show up, then maybe this will be one of those situations where 42 cents will look cheap, a few days or just depending on the momentum situation, maybe a couple weeks from now. But one of those where interesting pattern, interesting movement. So maybe not a lot of people out there talking about it, but worth certainly keeping an eye on. So that wraps up the top 10. And again, want to personally invite you to get signed up for this class if you enjoyed what you're seeing. So like I said, the class will be this Thursday, October 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Just keep in mind the Eastern part. And, we'll talk a lot more about charts, why they work, how they should be used, how they should not be used, and just a whole lot more. So if you're interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to build consistency, then definitely get signed up. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoyed this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these, then please help me out and communicate that to me by doing two very easy things. Hit the like button and then leave a basic comment. It could be saying hi. It could be just a number. It could be a smiley face. But those two things, hitting the like button, leaving a basic comment, communicate to me that you enjoy this format. And as long as I know that, then I have no problem at all continuing to put in the time and effort to make these videos. And again, if you want to learn more about the tool of technical analysis to build consistency, definitely get signed up for the class. Hopefully everybody had a good start to the week, and I'll see you back on Tuesday.